The research on childhood trauma and brain development is some of the most important and most misunderstood in all of developmental science. Today, we go straight to what the neuroscience actually says about how early adverse experiences shape the developing brain, what trauma actually means in a developmental context, and most importantly, what the research says about healing and resilience. Because this is not a story without hope. In fact, it's the opposite.
Welcome to Raised by Science. Today's video covers a difficult but important topic: how childhood trauma affects the developing brain. We're going to be precise about what the research actually says, clear about what it doesn't say, and careful to separate the science from the fear. This is a topic that deserves nuance, and that's what we're going to give it.
The word trauma is used loosely in modern culture, and that looseness sometimes creates unnecessary fear for parents. Developmental science is more precise. The Center on the Developing Child at Harvard distinguishes between 3 types of stress experiences in childhood. Positive stress, brief, mild stress, like a first day at school, manageable with caregiver support, actually builds resilience. Tolerable stress, more significant events like a family illness or natural disaster, which can be buffered by a supportive relationship with a caregiver. And toxic stress, prolonged, severe adversity without adequate adult support, which is where the research identifies lasting neurological impact.
The key variable across all 3 categories is the same: the presence or absence of a consistently supportive caregiver relationship. The same event that creates toxic stress in the absence of support can be processed as tolerable stress in the presence of a warm, responsive adult. The relationship is the buffer.
When a child experiences prolonged stress without adequate adult buffering, the neurological effects are measurable and significant. The HPA axis, the brain's stress response system, calibrates itself based on early experience. In a consistently safe environment, it responds to genuine threats and returns to baseline. In a chronically threatening environment, it calibrates to stay in high alert, a state of permanent vigilance that becomes the nervous system's new normal.
Research from the ACE study, the Adverse Childhood Experiences study, one of the largest investigations of this kind ever conducted, found clear dose-response relationships between the number of adverse childhood experiences and a wide range of health, behavioral, and mental health outcomes across the lifespan. The more adverse experiences, and the longer they lasted without buffering, the stronger the associations. The brain regions most affected are the amygdala, which becomes more reactive, more easily triggered, the hippocampus, which plays a key role in memory and stress regulation, and which can be reduced in volume under chronic stress, and the prefrontal cortex, which develops more slowly when the brain is spending its resources managing threat.
Here is where the research becomes genuinely hopeful, and where the public conversation about childhood trauma often stops short. Neuroplasticity, the brain's capacity to change in response to experience, does not switch off after childhood. The same research that documents the effects of early adverse experience also documents remarkable capacity for recovery, particularly when 3 conditions are present. First, a stable, warm, responsive relationship with at least one adult. Research consistently shows that a single secure attachment relationship can buffer the effects of significant adversity. Not perfect parenting, one reliable person.
Second, the processing of the experience through therapy, through narrative, through being heard, rather than the suppression of it. Research on trauma-informed therapy shows significant neurological changes in brain function and structure following effective treatment, including increases in prefrontal cortex activity and reductions in amygdala reactivity. Third, time, safety, and predictability. The brain that calibrated to threat recalibrates gradually when the environment becomes consistently safe. This process takes longer than the original wiring, but it happens. For parents watching this video, the message from the research is this. If you had a difficult childhood yourself, and research shows that a significant percentage of parents did, your history does not determine your child's outcomes. What the research shows is that parents who have processed their own early experiences, who have developed what researchers call earned security, are just as capable of providing secure attachment as parents who had uncomplicated childhoods. The processing matters more than the history.
If your child has experienced adversity, illness, loss, family disruption, exposure to conflict, the single most important thing the research identifies is what you do now. The warmth, the consistency, the responsiveness, the repair after difficult moments. These are not small things. They are the neurological conditions under which recovery happens. And if you are concerned that your child has experienced trauma that is beyond what you can address alone, that is exactly what trauma-informed therapists, pediatricians, and child psychologists exist for. Seeking help is not a failure. It is the most evidence-based thing you can do. The neuroscience of childhood trauma is not a story about damage. It is a story about experience shaping biology, and about the extraordinary capacity of the human brain to find safety, connection, and recovery when the conditions are right. You are one of those conditions. The research says so. If you want to understand more about how that recovery and connection actually gets built day to day, watch Baby Psychology. What's really going on inside your baby's mind? Next, right here. Subscribe to Raised by Science for more science-backed parenting content every week. See you in the next one.